Good morning, Bridge Nation. Welcome to the Public Eye. I'm Ronnie Thwaites, and the Honourable Pearnel Charles Sr. is with me. Today is May 18th, and we welcome you to this bridge that unites Jamaicans all over the world, that declares that people who love Jamaica, whatever your nationality, are one with us. We want to link you, we want to communicate with you, we want to hear from you. And we want to tell you the full story, the full 100 of what's happening in this country. This is an interesting program. We concentrate on local events for the first hour, and then a little later we're going to join our sister station, JAAB, in New York City, and link the concerns, the travails, and the joys of Jamaicans in the United States and elsewhere. Today, Bobby Stevens, well-known management consultant and entrepreneur and visionary, joins us. He picked up on a notion that I adopted from you, Mr. Charles, about the need to take our young men and women and engage them in work and attitudinal change. Let's hear from Bobby. Let him give his input and his slant to this all. Important for the future of those people and for our nation, for the peace that we all seek. And then later on this afternoon, we're going to join some Jamaican friends in Buffalo, Trouble City. Jamaicans are there. Beverly Joy Morrison and Garth Gibson are there in the Jamaican American Association of Buffalo, upstate New York. I know this city well. They've been torn apart recently by that internal terrorist action last week, which has killed, 10 people? Terrible tragedy there. And some of the major leaders in the United States refusing to call it what it is. Refusing to call it as a racist terrorist attack that unfortunately resides in the heart of so many people who cannot come to terms with their own humanity and that of everybody else. The Bridge 99 FM, we stand for the liberty of the people. Our WhatsApp and text line is 876-551-5782, and the studio line is 876-676-4996. Mr. Charlson, morning.
Morning. As I heard you were saying about the people in the United States, I think we could, I would say, take the privilege of saying that the president has recognized it.
Yes, he has.
And he has spoken about it very strongly.
Yeah.
We're not going to get away from that right now, Ronnie. It has been a long time, and in my opinion, it has a long way to go, because fear has fallen into the cultural line. People are not just upset that colored people or people who are not white are going to be in a larger proportion population-wise in another 40 or so years. They're not going to worry about that. They worry that they are going to be seen as a minority. And that's something to fight about as far as they are concerned.
When you look at the arc of history, there's something poetic about this, because those who were the minority and who were discriminated against as the minority for centuries, now by the changes of demography, the accidents of reproductive patterns, become the majority. And those who were previously in a position of superiority, some would say of oppression, of oppressors, suddenly get frightened. There are parallels in our own history,
Well, let me give you an additional parallel. Yeah. It is those who were in the majority that brought, for clarity, us across. Yes. It is their damage. Yes. It is their distinction. Yes. It is their development that created us. So this majority is their foundation, their creation.
Yeah, but then you see why we can't transcend all of that. That's what we're trying to do in Jamaica, That's the essence of the Jamaican spirit, is it not? Yes. That despite all of the convolutions of history through human behavior, perversity, opportunity, whatever, that we have decided, not perfectly yet by any means, but still we aspire to a situation where we
can say out of many,
one people.
one people.
We've gone clear of
Yes.
some of the divisions
Yes.
of the past. Not everybody, but
No.
my God, this is what we must strive after, you know.
I think that we could happily say
Yeah,
we have passed the color,
yeah.
but we have not passed the social
Class.
class,
Yeah.
that social and cultural
Yeah.
feeling,
Yeah,
which comes along with development
Yeah.
and money.
yeah.
Follow me?
Yeah.
Where you were born,
Uh-huh.
which school you went to,
Uh-huh.
what name you have.
Mm-hmm.
Although you know a whole heap, my name is
Carry.
something to have to look
Carry
on.
swing.
I was on Duke Street when you were in
Uh-huh.
bottom of the center. But, Ronnie, I think it would be unfair for us to think we can wipe it out one time. We can say we are progressing through education.
Yeah, that's right, and that makes a big difference. In Jamaica, during the past week since we gathered here, there has been some turns and twists in the industrial relations sector, which I put for your consideration.
Yes.
The firemen were protesting. I listened last night, was it, to a television news in which the Police Federation spokesman was being offensively rude to the minister and the high command of the police. Now, I hold no brief for them, but what worried me was that the apparent rancor. This was not just strong speech. It was more than that. And that's not good when these are the people who are supposed to reassure and protect and serve. And not good when those people are the people who have that awesome power of arrest.
Yeah, but when you go back to what we have been discussing
Right.
frightfully
Yeah.
over the past few weeks,
Yeah.
is the politics.
Mm-hmm.
When you listen to the presentation of the National Security Opposition spokesman, what he calling them to do,
What he calling them to do?
he say he must not allow the government to woodwind them. You didn't hear his speech?
I did. I heard the excerpts that were on
I mean,
television. But the fact of the matter is it not, that if you look at the numbers, the amount of capital that's being spent on the army by comparison to the police is as he said it.
Yes, but the army must not be separated from the police
But
when
that's
it comes to national military, national security.
But that's what the police are complaining about, sir.
Yes.
The head of the Police Federation was very clear: don't militarize us.
Well, I think if we militarize them, it will be better.
Well, you're taking a very controversial position
I
there.
am very controversial because I believe that the police come, in other words, come from we, and we taking them for granted. The tough policemen,
That's their problem.
the tough policemen, right?
That's their complaint.
Well,
But you see,
because the others say no to say, Marsman not come, so take another road.
you have faith in this toughness that I don't. I think toughness bespeaks resistance and recalcitrance rather than harmony. But on that,
What do you think bring softness, if not toughness?
No, it's not. That's not the.
You remember I told you, sorry.
That's not the contrast.
You remember I told you what Tufton taught me?
Which is
He said, you must not play with the children. Scold them with love.
yes.
So in other words, I stopped beating.
When you sure that I agree with.
And I strongly present
and that don't
love.
mean that you are soft.
That's well, you're not soft.
Yeah. But you see, Jamaica and the governments of Jamaica and those with power in Jamaica confuse gentleness with weakness.
Well, who confused that? There's a nice sense that don't take weakness for kindness.
Right. Don't take my kindness for weakness.
Right.
Yes, I like that.
Right. Don't take my kindness for weakness, because I'm gonna be strong. But
So
let's get back to the point you were making.
when soldiers shoot people in the back of them head, when them kick pregnant woman, yeah. What is that? That is brutality. That is illegality. When police kill over 200 people a year, yes, many of them inevitable, but still life lost. Okay?
Let me answer you on that.
None of them tried and convicted. When we enforce,
None tried and convicted.
yeah, none of them.
Yes, but when the criminal shoot the police in
Equally
the head,
wrong. But you can't.
Hold on.
match evil with evil
well,
and look for good.
well, how are you going to? Well, tell me how you go. Whether you're going to take good match evil?
No. Well,
What you
of
gonna-
course. Oh yes, good match evil. Yes, yes. You
We-
have
we've
fo-
been-
you
we
have
have-
to-
we
you
have
have
been
to
trying-
follow.
we've
You have
been-
to follow law and human rights. Always. There's no. Look here. That's what they didn't do with you, Mr. Pearnel, Charles.
Yeah, that's what.
They took away your human rights.
Yes.
Your response, or the response of people who supported you, couldn't have been to do the same thing to other people and justify it.
Some might have wanted it.
Of course, it's a
But-
natural thing, but you can't do that.
Right,
The height of our humanity demands that we do a different thing.
Yeah, but let's not get away from the direct.
Yeah.
The police cannot use soft gloves to handle criminals
No.
who are shooting them
No.
and stabbing them
No.
and breaking them.
No.
So tell me how do you
Well,
manage
what-
that?
I tell you what you
you
do.
What do you kneel down and pray?
No, oh, that's very important.
Yes, but-
but you know that. But what you don't do is kick pregnant woman.
Is what?
Kick pregnant woman.
Ronnie, neither.
And
neither-
then
hold on.
there's no recourse.
Neither the
No, no condemnation.
neither the husband who kick his wife is she pregnant.
But no, don't.
Hold on. Neither the police who kick a woman, knowing or not knowing if
Right,
she's
but
pregnant.
to them.
None of that is right. Absolutely none of that
Yes.
is right.
No.
Okay.
That's right. And so what I'm saying is, if the police and the army operate according to law, that is perfectly reasonable.
You don't go no further because you have just read that on my script.
Right? So we agree, you know.
We agree that there is a standard set
Yeah.
for that sort of delivering of peace,
Yeah.
right? And if they abide by that, in other words, we have gone through it while the standards are set, you know.
Some have. Some do. Yes,
Right?
you're right.
And the
We
standards
come
set,
from a far way.
and we have not yet reached that phase where either husband or wife.
This is something that I've been fighting
children.
from 1971, you know. I mean, and you and I agree, but what happens on the street corner is very, very important. And we have to look at that. Before we break, though, on the issue of industrial relations, I mentioned the firemen and the police. And then you have today, I was pointing out to you, the Bank of Jamaica refusing a 15% wage offer. No, Mr. Charles, if I'm a policeman or I'm a teacher or I'm a civil servant or whoever, and I look at my 4%, in an inflation situation of 12%, and the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance tell me I must be patient because I'm soon come, and the Bank of Jamaica, yes, is saying we scorn 15%, and the very head of the union that is supportive of the government, the Bustamante Union, with which you are very familiar,
Yes.
pauses and euphemizes their situation in a way. What do the rest of the 100,000 who are to remain patient do when that kind of example is being set and
Well,
supported by the very people who are telling them to keep them out and eat less?
Well, you notice I'm ducking my head when you're firing those shots. I'm ducking under them. Because, Ronnie, let me give you a little piece of my industrial development
Sure.
situation.
Soon come Bobby Stevens.
The point is this, that the way we are settling disputes, particularly with government workers, cannot work. Because we have more than 100,
100,000.
no, unions.
100. Yes, there's many unions. I don't know how many.
Okay? And everybody have to
47.
everybody have to get more for their section in order to keep their union.
I see.
Now, we have discovered that years ago. Norman Manley, Bustamante, Hugh Shearer, all of,
The greats.
Michael Mann, all of the greats, they have discovered a way to settle those disputes. You cannot settle with 10 unions unless you're going to give each of them a little more than the other. But where the money coming from? So you have to raise taxes. I mean, you raise taxes on the man who don't have anything. How that come? You have to raise gas.
Right.
So you have a politics now. Drop the tax, but raise the salary.
So how now could the Bank of Jamaica, it's a state institution, it's supposedly independent, yes, but they have to fit within the matrix of public bodies,
Yes.
owned by the government. Can they refuse 15% when the fireman is expected to take 4%?
Because they are saying, when we look at what work we are doing, when we look at how much money we are bringing in, we feel that we should be paid from what we are bringing in.
No, well...
But that must be the same.
But yes.
So the Bank of Jamaica say they are...
But I can't wrong them for that. But I have to say that the same supermarket...
No, sorry. Let me disturb you. If you are part of the whole, stretch out the finger.
But they don't believe it.
The whole, don't all the finger them have different length?
Yes, sir.
When you fold it, don't they make one solid?
Yes, sir.
So, although you have a little more, you're not going to tell me you forget more than a little finger.
Well, this is it.
Because you're not going to be part of the fist.
But that's exactly what the government is doing.
Well,
the government is the bank.
I'm not here to defend that,
No, you couldn't.
I'm not.
No, I know that.
I'm telling you plain and straight.
But look at the corner we've backed ourselves into. Yes, and the two set of people have to go in the same supermarket.
Yeah, but Ronnie, it has happened time and time again. And as it finishes, we forget it, and we go over it and over it.
That is the point.
And the solution is in the corner.
Yes, sir.
The solution is documented.
Yes, well.
And I will tell you, but I should tell you after the year, because I don't want to start running a business for them, right? But the point is, this has happened time and time again until the greats of the past, the parliament and the unions agree that there must be one way of settling it.
Yes.
And the Industrial Dispute Tribunal, when they settle it, the Supreme Court cannot move it.
Unless they make a mistake in law.
Unless there's a law.
Yeah.
And guess what? I forget it. Last night I was thinking about you, And say that, say it again. Unless they do what?
Unless they break the law.
And what's the thing the Supreme Court does?
Yeah. Return it.
The Supreme Court has to send it back to them to look at that.
Sure.
So therefore, the Industrial Dispute Tribunal is the top.
Yes.
Full stop.
But they haven't been invoked.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Got your point, clearly.
I know you're going to read the column on that.
You can do that. Bobby Stevens, greetings.
Morning. Greetings to you both.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being patient as we exhaust ourselves with these industrial relation points. Bobby Stevens, Pearnel Charles has had an idea that we have labored over, that we really should seek to advance those who are underskilled, undercertified in the country. Not so much by putting them in a classroom, but rather by placing them in a work situation where they are gaining the disciplines as well as the techniques of a trade, of a profession. What do you think?
I think it's a fabulous idea, and it's important that the private sector buy into it and the government support it. I mean, it is clear that what is happening now is that a lot of people are learning by doing, yes, but not enough of them are being certified. Not enough of them are being properly guided. And I think that it's time enough that you get an organization like the Trust,
Heart Trust,
working with private sector to be able to develop these programs where people can be trained on the job.
Yes.
Bobby, let me disturb you, because you have said it 10 times better than I have said it. That's exactly what I wanted to say. I wanted to add the social and cultural part into the financial, because you cannot run it. That's why I said the hard shoes, the uniform, and the cap. Yes. Some guy would love to go to work just to wear that and come home.
Of course.
You understand? That's social, cultural development. Bobby, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I think Bobby will agree.
I totally agree with you, but one of the things that I've been saying is that the housing trust, for instance, is sitting on nearly $200 billion. And what has been happening is that every year the government goes to it and says, look, give us a $10, $11 billion out of that to prop up the budget. But that money should be utilized to begin to address the whole question of the social imbalances in our society. What the Housing Trust needs to do is develop an island-wide program where They're going into communities that are, in depressed areas, and whether it's squatters or it is, the areas in Kingston or Montego Bay or whatever, upgrading them, registering all the people in there as contributors and partners in the housing trust, giving them loans to upgrade their homes, but putting in the proper infrastructure. That would make a tremendous difference to people.
Yeah.
And it can't be just...
Go ahead.
It can't be just improving the physical. It must be also looking at the human aspects, the aspects of their training, their education, and their well-being.
Bobby, let me say this to you. The housing trust money is not government money,
Agreed.
The housing trust money is not housing trust money, The housing trust money is people's money.
Yeah, but what Bobby is saying doesn't deny that.
Where that money go down there? That money that is in there, whose money it is?
Hold on.
It's people's
Pearnel,
money.
let me explain something to you.
But you're not giving it away.
The housing trust, if the housing trust invests in these depressed communities,
okay. I didn't hear the word investment.
The people become members of the trust.
Yeah.
They begin to reach into the formal society and become respected. The biggest problem a lot of these people have, is they don't have any security of tenure. You don't need to own the land that you live on to have security of tenure. The government can begin by putting all of these lands and leasing them on a long-term basis to the existing dwellers. Because clearly, we're not going to remove these squatters or these people in depressed areas, It would be a Herculean task. It can't be done. So accept that we upgrade the majority of them. There are some that are in conditions or in areas where you don't want to invest because of the fact that it's on a gully side or it is in a prone area to landslides or things like that. Fine, don't have a problem. But the majority of them are in areas that what you should do is convert those areas into formal settlements, give the people security of tenure, give them loans to fix up their houses, and let's get people standard of living improved.
But Bobby, you're saying that money can come from housing trust.
No, but it doesn't come.
It can.
What I'm agreeing with Bobby Pearnel is to explain to you that it doesn't come as a donation.
Oh, okay. Come as a loan?
No. Come as a loan. You give $3 million to a person who is in charge of a yard in central Kingston.
Yes.
Give it to them for 40 years at 2% interest. Yes,
but the yard belongs to government?
No, if the yard belongs to government, what you have
is that different? Who the yard belongs to?
You have to settle the tenure. Now, what we were doing and what I'm still engaged in is to ensure that somebody in the yard, becomes the owner of the place which belonged to somebody who did long time or gone abroad or give up the place. Not always a smooth thing to do because there can be many contenders. But it is important to settle ownership or settle tenure by lease, as Bobby suggests, or by full ownership. And then the housing trust must be in a position where they say, I am going to invest in you. $3 million in a big yard.
No, but Ronnie, you and Bobby don't have an objection from me,
Okay.
Once you can settle ownership.
No,
once you can, it's either government has the power to take it over and then transfer it.
But Bobby,
if there is nobody, owner.
Yes, there's so many laws in that respect. Let me tell you.
But you're an attorney.
Yes,
you know.
but Bobby, one of the problems is that the successive governments. Pearnel always complains that when at the bottom line, it's a political curry favoring that sabotages the best ideas. But if you look, for example, at the houses that the housing trust invested in during Kingsley Thomas's side down in southwest St. Andrew and West Kingston, South St. Andrew, many of them, I am told, are in default at the housing trust because we will not take the steps that if a person does not pay for the place that they got or the loan that they took out to improve, there must be consequences. That doesn't mean you evict people.
Hold on, Ronnie, I agree with you.
That's not what the problem is, Ronnie. The problem comes at whichever government build those houses, obligated themselves to give the houses to their political supporters first,
Correct.
whether they are working or not. You
Correct.
can't
The
carry a man
premise-
from. Sorry, go ahead,
And
brother.
the premise, therefore, was wrong in the first place.
Yeah?
The premise
The
was wrong
premise
in
for
the
the
first place.
housing to be given to. Let me tell
Exactly,
you
but
something.
that is what happens,
Yeah,
Ronnie. And it happened because the politician is not that him don't have a good idea, you know. Because him couldn't build a house in his ear to put on 40 people and carry 40 PNP come put them when him is a jail PMP.
So
or
what-
carry 40 jail come put them when him is a PNP.
Yeah, but you're
so, you
all-
have, so you have jungle, you have
Rima.
PNP, you have Rima.
You have Tivoli.
So the point is this, that
Uh-huh.
that sword of what do you call it? Sword of what?
Damocles.
Right? Spell politics.
So
And
Bob,
how do we get out of that
So
if
Bob-
power is important?
Bobby Stevens.
All right, gentlemen, can I come in here?
Yes,
Let me
take
tell
it-
you
take
something.
it over.
One of the biggest problems is that we give houses to people as if it is a gift. And furthermore, we do not give them something they can afford.
Right.
So you give them a loan, so-called, to live in a nice 2-bedroom, beautiful apartment, but them can't afford it. The better way to do it is take what they are currently living in, improve the conditions that they're in, and allow them to borrow what is affordable for them to be able to improve what them have.
Got you? No, why is
All you
that?
have to do is deal with the security of tenure, which is where the housing trust can come in,
Yeah.
acquire the massive areas of land, and make that an investment, and then they lease it to the people who are already occupying.
That's one way, and I add to that there are many cases in which the individuals themselves can be assisted to get ownership of the place. The law allows that. Yes.
Agreed, but to be honest with you, if you're looking at massive development, I think it has got to be centralized in an organization like a housing trust. You create a special department
No, you're
for
not.
urban upgrading,
Sure.
and you develop.
That
program.
There are many different ways,
That's
but
unreasonable.
then let me ask a question before we go back to the apprenticeship thing, because that is the way in which you could absorb unattached young people. But why is it that these solutions seem so obvious, so palpable, and yet we don't do them, Bobby Stevens?
Because let me tell you something, we've got to have a coming together of the minds.
What I think
The
listen
organizations
to Bobby
that are
Stevens.
controlled have boards that are selected that are very, very partisan. That's one of the biggest problems. I went and made a presentation to the Housing Trust on this subject when Mr. Clark, our young Minister of Finance, was chairman. And he agreed with the idea. And then he set up a team to be able to move it forward. But nothing happened. No meetings took place, no discussions took place. Because, it really is something that political will has got to lead the way. You have to have somebody who is a visionary in charge of the country, who understands these things and is going to really push them.
Visionary.
And I'm afraid that we're lacking that right now.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. But let's go back to the key thing now, because we have obvious need, we have money, we have a huge social and human resource problem with people who aren't trained, aren't certified, can't get work. Now look, the Gleaner's editorial this morning says the government must ramp up the certification. Okay, that's good. But what we need to do is to certify large numbers of people. And Pearnel, it's absolutely essential. This is the 18th of May. Within the next 2 weeks, school will let out. We're going to be putting out probably 30 to 50,000 students at varying levels out into the working world, out of school now. Some will go into tertiary studies, many will go abroad, and many will go on the street corner. Bobby Stevens, this is the time to start something like this, isn't it?
I'm sorry, I got cut off a little while there.
Okay, I'm just saying that when the school year is ending, this is the time when you have a ready cohort to start this kind of issue.
Sorry, so what were you asking me, Ronnie?
I'm asking you whether you think this isn't the time to put forward this idea that no student should leave school and not be clear that he or she has something to do, some institution they're going to, some job that they've got. If not, they must be placed in some program for continuation of, and particularly for training, not in a classroom.
Bobby, before you come in, listen to this one. Ronnie's Thwaites came here one morning, light up bright, that he heard something from the Prime Minister
But him not do nothing.
about what you call it, Ronnie?
National
National
Youth Service.
All right. Right? Well, no, there's another one before that. The military has started one.
Yeah.
Where they take you over in a training program, and some go to police, some go to military, some go to that. At least that cohort, that quantity of people get some training other than the lick out boy money tongue. Right? You can walk straight.
But tell me something.
stand up
What
straight.
him do? What the Prime Minister do since then?
What he does?
What has he done? Where is the program?
Well,
The picnic coming out of school next week, Doctor.
yeah, but
Would dress up in gown and cap and
Doctor-
have not one piece of certification in their hand because they don't get it.
And I hear man just ball out, say, Ronnie, you're blaming the Prime Minister.
No, and is him call it? Is him have the power? Is him decide how the
Him
money
see-
spent?
He has seen it. Bobby, you are one of the men out there who have put a lot in this social and cultural development,
Indeed.
right? And I am saying, here's a Prime Minister who has seen the thing. The rest of us, particularly the money class, the fearful class, give up something, walk out and let us train. Because if you don't do it, they're coming for you. So when them coming out, you go for them.
Is there any sign that they're willing to do this?
Eh?
I wrote about this. We talked about it. It's not by any means a novel idea. Have we heard anything from the private sector organization supporting it?
Mama
No?
would say, keep talking, Ronnie.
Okay.
Don't give up.
Yeah, but
keep
but-
writing, Ronnie.
Yeah, but at the
Don't
same
give up.
time, what are we spending our time doing? We are spending our time crafting mandatory sentences for the same misguided youth who we take off the cap and gown and make him go out the street
Yeah,
with nothing.
because we've sent him out on the street.
Ja.
So you have to get something to hold him.
Yeah.
Instead of dressing him.
Hold it. And
Bobby, let's go back to the point I make. Ronnie, I did to it. The question of certification, Bobby. When I became Minister of Labour and Social Security, 73% of the workforce were not certified. And I want to congratulate the Heart. On Saturdays and Sundays and holidays, they gather people all over Jamaica, and hundreds were certified, and they move on. No, we want to get back into what we started with. We say, if you train these people, Heart will certify them. Heart of teams, they can be certified. Bobby,
Yes, sir.
are you hearing us?
he is.
Yeah, man, I'm here.
Well, we want you to tell us that we're wrong.
No, I mean, let me tell you something. This whole question of certification of people, it cannot be done by just Heart Trust.
No.
It has got to be a collaboration between private sector and in particular the construction sector.
Sure.
And the
Amen.
government.
Amen.
And the people in the industry of teaching and training and certification. They come together now. The three groups just sit down in a room and work out a program.
True.
So that we can get this whole thing moving.
True.
Because in my opinion, what we're doing is, especially our young boys, we're losing them.
Of course. Now, the head of the Master Builders Association came on this program last week, Bobby, and he said that he has written to the government 3-4 times in respect of promoting this same kind of idea, and he has not got a single response.
Well, I don't know who is in charge of the program. In government, I don't.
He has written, I understand.
Understood.
He has written to the Prime Minister.
Well, you
Bobby,
know,
let me ask you before you. When I was a boy, every elementary school had a workshop. That's why we make saving box. We make little things. You know, to cut saw. There was a tool. Is that still in schools?
No.
No.
Why?
Well, it's not.
Why is that subject dropped?
It's just not. Some places
I remember
have
I
it,
did woodwork in school.
I was too
And
stush
I
for
mean,
that.
I don't think they teach those things
No,
anymore.
in some places they do. But the fact
Yeah,
is,
the technical school.
yeah,
But I mean, I'm talking about the high schools. The
Right.
majority of them
No
don't do
man,
it anymore.
elementary school. All of us make a saving box and we can start save pennies.
Can I ask you to accept a principle?
Yes.
That no young person ought to be out of school without some certification in language, in numeracy, in information technology, and in at least one marketable skill.
So who should? All right, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Who do you think should take that responsibility?
Ministry of Education.
How is the Ministry of Education going to take that?
Of course, they can mandate that.
If it's mandated to all teachers,
All
headmasters,
schools.
all schools, that you evaluate your children at the fourth form, whatever form, 12th year, and you decide who go where.
Start earlier if necessary.
Right.
And even me who bust Latin and Greek, yes, I should know a little bit about the woodwork, yes,
Yes.
yes,
That's right.
or some other thing.
In other words, you should have a little mark on your finger when
Yes,
start
sir.
cut you like me.
Exactly. Well, but what we're talking about is central to the Jamaican civilization. You know, Robert Stevens.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
By the way, the Pattison report that was,
Right.
I mean, I assume we paid quite a bit of money for that.
We did.
What has happened? Because, you know, the Gleaner, for instance, highlighted a number of things in there today.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, are these things being worked on? Is there a group that is implementing, and where's it reached? Do we have any updates on what's happening?
Can I answer you the back way? How many reports have been done like this over the last 15 years?
Nothing quite as comprehensive as
No,
this
no.
one.
But how many reports? What has happened to those reports?
Let Bobby tell you. He comes from the public service.
I agree with you. What's the use of these reports if we're not going to implement them?
Yeah.
Randy Thwaites came to Parliament, Bobby, and asked the question, what is the reason why all of these government institutions are sending reports to Parliament when all we do is collect it and carry it to and go catch door? We have not debated any of them. So it's not just that. Ran, you remember?
Of course. I suggested that any institution that didn't file their reports on time
Yes.
should not get any more government money.
Yeah.
And two, that we should sit down in Parliament and look at it, because more than a third of the budget is being spent by these institutions who have no governance review accountability at all, because what? We don't even want to see the reports. We're too busy fighting PNP and JLP. What damn ignorance is that?
Well, Bobby,
Yes, sir.
you have a very strong voice in this social and cultural development, which finally we're going to end up with some financial settlement. We want, from this program, Bridge has given us the privilege to say to our leaders, we want our children who are coming out of school to have some objectives. They must either go this way, that way, but it must be what we call a better way. How do you think about that?
I totally agree with you. I mean, you know, I mentor a lot of young people because I'm associated with my alma mater, Monroe College.
Great.
I'm associated
Happy to
with
know that.
university,
Yes.
etc. The point is this, though, that I'm finding now a lot of youngsters. I mean, a mother spoke to me this morning about her daughter who has an idea about putting in water harvesting and solar panels in a school, SOS Village up in Stony Hill. And she wants to take it on as a project. So I'm guiding her through the process because, believe it or not, there's money out there. The Environmental Foundation of Jamaica is managing funds now that are available for projects like this for schools. There is knowledge out there, which I developed a course on water harvesting. I'm sending her all the information. But we need to get our young people doing things like this and getting involved so that this might be just a volunteer project for her, but it can turn into a whole industry.
Yes.
It can turn into her lifelong type of thing that she's going to do all over the Caribbean, because we need it all over the Caribbean.
Well, I think that's a very good idea. Every possible initiative is to be welcomed in this regard. But I'm insisting here on the bridge where we're linking the consciousness and the information of people here and abroad. Look here, if you think that passing draconian laws or repression is going to solve crime, you are foolish. You are wasting, apart from being inhuman, you are wasting public funds. We need a program now that takes unattached young people and trains them and re-socializes them. And if they step out of line after that, then the penal system can can have its way. Otherwise, you are going to produce wholesome citizens that can do something productive for themselves and for the nation. And I'm so sorry that I've heard all of the nice statements about what is being done, but either I see token amounts or nothing happens. Nothing happens.
Ronnie, even if it is token, it's a start.
And I
am saying to you, we're not going to catch everyone, but we shouldn't be losing everyone.
Exactly. And spending $1 million plus to lock up a person, yes, when half of that could be used to regenerate them is one of the worst investments. Tell your cabinet that. Let's tell our cabinet that.
I like that you drag back your word quick.
Sure.
But the point is, though, the facts are, we, and Bobby has just said, we cannot turn our back on those who are coming, and they're coming, going where?
Yeah.
They're coming to survive. How can they survive? And what?
I'm committed to...
In other words, them have a thief.
Well, let's hear Bobby. You're committed.
I'm committed to working on finding more ways that we can do debt swaps.
Okay.
To be able to provide funds for our children in particular and our environment. Now, we have already done 3 debt swaps, which currently are being managed by the Environmental Foundation of Jamaica. We're looking at expanding that. The reality is this.
Right.
There are some countries that we owe hundreds of millions of US dollars to. And many of them are willing to discuss the possibility of converting this into a fund which can be utilized in Jamaica for the development of our youth.
By government?
So, no, this has got to be done through an NGO, right? And this is why the EFJ has been established and why it is working fairly well, because the fact is that it's not run by politics. It's not run by whether you're PNP or JLP, you go and get a loan or a grant or whatever.
Right.
It is run in a way where people come in with proposals, they're assessed from a very objective perspective, and it has absolutely nothing to do with politics.
That's good. Good if we can know more about that and hear about that. And I think many of our diaspora listeners will be glad to know that.
I want to go back to what Peter Phillips and myself, and we are inviting you to join us.
Okay.
That there has to be a look at the political system, because we have tied ourselves into it. Future is there, so we have to restructure it. We have to reorganize it. We have to redevelop it. We have to put it in a way how it ends up plus with many of what we are saying.
But the people
because it is strong.
But the people who preside over the political system feel that it's working quite well.
But Ronnie, many of them,
and they're the ones who have the option
many
to
of the guys who said them now work again, them want to take money. Feel them doing well, you know.
Yeah.
Why me come out of school?
Yeah.
Me my computer.
So it's very important that people like Bobby and yourself, and maybe I have a word too.
No.
Help,
you and maybe I have a word.
Help in that regard. But please understand that the present system has many defenders. You know, Bobby. There are people.
I'm aware.
There are people who are thriving mightily of the present system. Their soul case and their spinal column is invested in them. No one it changed at all. Yes?
And you must understand, Ronnie, that some of who have political success is not as strong as some of who have financial success.
Exactly.
And those two
Combined.
Yeah.
Res-
when that combined,
revanchist.
where the rest of us fall.
Yes.
I am an about it, but Charles, you know that too. Which is true. I accept. I accept that I have been a part of the development. But I am a conscious one
Sure.
who said, look, don't expect those people who are hungry, have nowhere to sleep, nowhere to go at nights. Don't expect them going to sit down and make peony fly over them head.
Bobby Stevens, thanks for the support. Thanks for the ideas and great work at the Environmental Trust. I hope you can tell us more about that prospect and in the future. Bless you.
All the best to you both. And I'm very happy about your program because it shows that, you know, the JLP and the PNP representatives can work together for the development of the country. Let's all do it together.
Thanks so much. We believe that too. Bobby Stevens, well-known certified management consultant and public servant, was at the UDC for years. He was one of the originators of the new Port Royal project, thoughtful Jamaican, lover of our people. So,
Ronnie,
yes, Mr. Charles.
Do you know that there are many young people out there who are conscious, needed guidance, and they're not looking to go into the rough road?
No. So
how do we grab them?
Well, Bobby Stevens just told you he mentors a lot of people from his alma mater, Monroe, and in other respects. Let's talk about that when we come back on The Public Eye. This is The Bridge, 99 FM. This is The Public Eye on the Open Mind on The Bridge 99 FM. Soon joining with Ira Jam in New York, Erwin Clare linking up with Jamaicans in Buffalo, US. Just finished an interview, Pearnel, Charles and myself, with Bobby Stevens, noted management consultant, public figure, thoughtful Jamaican. We were talking about how you mentor young people.
Yes.
Now, in my view, every church member we usually think of church members as people of principle.
Yes.
Yeah? We don't all live up to that, but we try. Every adult church member should try and mentor one young person.
Well, I have a different view.
Tell me.
At my church, when I was a boy, every parent was required to see that them boy come to the church thing.
Right.
There's a Boy Scout.
Yes.
There's a church thing.
Yes, man. I know about Pathfinder.
A Pathfinder. And there's a medical one.
Yes.
And you get most to be in it, you know.
But of course, that's what that was Garvey's attraction.
Right. Because if you walk, my people saw you walk straight.
Sure.
And you stand up and say, boy, straighten up and say, if you're a soldier. No. So instead of taking them one running, parents could get together because, as I told you about fathers not going, just mothers, where fathers come and watch them boy, you understand? And feel good with them.
They start noticing them.
Exactly. And so the mentoring has to go back there. Okay. But remember, the school used to do it. Every school had a scout troop.
But let me tell you a story. I know of a situation with a young girl, impressionable age, 16 years old, in a high school. And I noticed that she's not attending regularly. So I asked why. And I'm told that the mother doesn't have the money to send the child. It lives at a distance, difficult, okay? So she stay home plenty time. So I call up and try and help. And I ask a simple question: where's the father? Him there, Port Antonio, and when we call him don't answer the phone. Yes? Now that girl is growing up in a situation where, at her most impressionable age, where boys will start look at her, she needs a male presence to show her now if you don't say a word, just to show her how to relate to people as an adult. Okay? She doesn't have that. Right? Now, mother tries, but she's deflected other children, a job, menial, etc. Now, suppose she went to your childhood church. Somebody would take her up and say, come, put on a uniform, be a girl guide or a brownie or whatever the female equivalent. The Pathfinders have ladies, have girls, I believe. You add structure to life. Now, if they're not doing that, because church attendance is dwindling in Jamaica. Yes? The school is the only institution that everybody do go to.
Could I ask you to stop right there?
Please.
I want me and you today to join hands
Yeah.
and to make an appeal.
Yeah.
I know that some man somewhere is listening.
Yeah.
And him saying, boy, a long time I don't see me picnic, A long time I don't say nothing for them, Let us make an appeal today.
Yes.
Let us say it to somebody who is listening. And call me and tell me, say, Mr. Charles, boy, me never really remember, but you touch me heart.
Touch me.
Because let me tell you something. You remember I told you about the man who people say enough for him picnic, and he said the woman say, "I feel me picnic, so me I take care of it," and then laugh after him until the picnic come out to be big nurse and drive up. Everybody say, "Lord God," she call him Papa, because what he took care of her. So I'm saying to fathers, today is Father's Day for me.
Yeah.
I'm saying to you,
Good man.
please look back. Some of you say no for your picnic, but they say for you. Well, let me tell you something. One day he's gonna touch you and say, "Daddy."
Yeah, but whether for you or not for you, the picnic need minding.
No, hold on, Mama, give me the answer. Say,
Watch this
if
way.
you no walk on the sand, your foot not did it. So in other words,
Yes.
even if I don't feel
you go there.
you walk,
Yeah.
and then a woman have a right to say who. So I'm saying to fathers today,
Yeah.
these are two fathers, Ronnie Thwaites and myself.
But it's a big talk you're talking,
But
because
Ronnie,
you realize if we pick up on that in Jamaica, half of the problem gone,
Listen, you're saying that right now.
Yeah.
Me see a man look for another man and say, "Boy, you ma talk,
Yeah.
And say, "No, you." I say, "I tell you what,
How do I know?
I told you ma talk."
Yeah.
I am saying, thank God, I have 7, you have 7 too.
Yes, sir.
And we have nurtured them.
Yeah.
In fact, when I heard my son in Parliament yesterday, the only thing he never tell you is that me wake him up 5 o'clock for go feed the fowl. Feed the fowl. And he come back one day and said, "Daddy, can I not feed the fowl?" Because when I went to school, the boy and them said, they smell the fowl feed. I said, "Bathe more. Shower more." Right? You understand?
Yes.
Because my father used to send me go milk cow 3 miles away to meet Mr. Lemonius to carry God's condensary. Right? And people say, "Mr. Charles, you see how your boy them a get up, go brush water, all of them need going bad." Well, mine need no bad. Right? But the point is this, fathers, I am making an appeal to you.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Not only at graduation.
Yeah.
Don't just come to graduation and say, "Am my boy that?"
Yeah.
Take him.
But then you see,
Walk with him
right.
sometime.
So my mind is running on your lines and a little further, because I am saying what a tragedy it must be when a father want to notice him picnic, yes, and can't give him nothing. Him just don't have nothing.
Yes.
Yes, and where the mother will say, "Don't bother come around unless you have something."
Yeah, but Ronnie, that father, I have helped many of those fathers.
Yeah.
That father who come to me and say, "Mr. Charles, just help him because I see that boy there.
Yeah.
He can get someplace,
Yeah.
But I need to help him."
Yeah.
That father get a farm work.
Yes.
That father get
True.
a little work.
True.
That father.
Yeah.
That in fact, when those fathers go away, they bring back a call it the right, a grip load with dungaree.
Sure. For
One for
everybody.
this and one everybody get.
But we need an economic system that allows people, that encourages people to be good parents. It's not something that you have to be a good parent if you have one finger of banana. Yes.
Yes.
But when you have it burns my heart. Yes. And when you have an economic system where some people can buy a car for $17 million.
Yes.
Yes. And build 10-bedroom house when them not need, because they can only sleep in one bed at night time. Yes.
And they come back to what you said earlier.
Yeah.
He can get a loan
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
But the little man who have a little piece of rock
Can't
stone
get a thing.
can't get a
No.
little thing to
No.
put in a little piece.
Yes, and as we were saying off the air, but appropriately, here's the Minister of Agriculture yesterday making his an important speech, speaking about food security, speaking about domestic production, right? But the missing link is that the credit to do that, which every business needs credit at some time, is not available. And it's not available from the very system that we have no alternative but to put our money in. Yes, make them take out the extortionate fees, and which the very colleagues of the said minister are saying that we can't regulate them.
Well, let me.
My God!
Hold on, don't move yet. Bobby is still listening to us.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you a question. These billions of dollars that have been put into the housing trust by us, some dead gone left it, will never come back. Some don't even know it's in there.
Right.
Can something be done that these people talking about, since the big commercial bank say you're not big enough to get money for borrow, right? Can we have institutions like that?
Sure.
Who can, under Bobby Stevens and them,
Yeah.
say, boy, we're going into St. Elizabeth, and a man have a little piece of land, he can't buy no fertilizer, he can't buy no melon seed, and him with you see a man without foot the other night working. So we have the ambition,
Sure, but we
don't have the backup.
Well, but it seems to me we can really do that. One of the things that I am hoping Minister of Agriculture will speak to very soon is the revival of the PC banks, the People's Cooperative Banks.
Whatever happened to that, Ronnie?
They weren't run correctly, and people fall into arrears, and their financial viability has diminished. But that should not be the end of it. We need an institution for small man agricultural credit. Yes, and it is worthy of investment, proper management, okay, and to ensure that the people, particularly in the rural areas, have that opportunity.
Well, so let me ask you a question. Let's say Bobby is listening again. And you say billions of dollars are in housing trusts. That's what started it, you know.
Yeah.
Could we have a system where you revise these small banks, farmers or whatever, and the housing trust would lend money to them to go to the farmers?
It might be possible if it was properly secured and so on, and it can be, but I don't think it need even come from the housing trust. There is money in the Jamaica Development Bank, which could properly.
Whose money is that?
Well, that's government's money.
Government's money.
Yes.
Okay.
Could be devolved there.
So let's
Yes.
go with the government money.
But
Because the government money is the people's money.
yeah, when you talk about promoting small business, I've heard of $500 million, $1 billion being available for it. Small business, agriculture is small business too, you know, sir. Small people, agriculture is small.
Agriculture is better small business. You go to Coronation Market.
Yes, sir.
Go and take it on the one.
Can you imagine? The only thing, when we go there, the price go up.
Well, come with me, because when I say, "Are you Mr. Charles?" You come over here, and I'll drop it for you. So
Anytime.
there's something about you why them know you have more money more than me.
No. What a thought. But no, seriously, these are the things that can make a big difference. If you said to the small farmers of this country, look here, if you have a reasonable agricultural project, and if RADA, the new RADA that we are conceptualizing, or the old RADA, if you are able to the agricultural officer says, yes, this is it, and this is a reasonable thing, and a big money, you might want a spray pan, you might want to employ a tractor to plow 2 acre land,
right.
Whatever it is, or you might need some market arrangement. Yes, but here is it now. And we're going to make sure that you have a paper, you can secure something. Or even if it is unsecured, because the banks are offering unsecured money for buy a car now. Yes?
So, Ronnie, let me solve that solution for you and you and Pearnel Charles Jr. We have 30 farmers. We have 30 farmers in this area. Right? Why we need more than one tractor?
Don't?
We don't need more than one tractor.
No, but
So the RADA will say, Mr. Brown, Mr. Clark, Mr. White, next week, 2 days plowing for you. All you have to do is find gas. And one tractor can do a whole community. Now,
if the driver don't take it and roast out a street.
well, let us say we find somebody who is better than me and you, right? But where look at where it fall down. When it fit, it stayed till it spoil. So you now have to look forward to the marketing, right? And I heard Pearnel said something which I never know it was possible. He said women are now heading into farming.
Great.
And the women are better salesperson.
Of course. No, look at that. That gives you an opening, a window, and also women are better credit risks than men.
Because women prefer to pay about them things and give Siaga what he do.
The ICIs,
That's
informal
right.
commercial importers.
When he came to us with this nonsense that he's going
Sound
to
like.
lend money to Higglers,
Yes.
I said, "But boss, you going to do what?
We heard you.
He's going to lend money to Higglers." We were in agreement, and look what it turned out to be.
Yes.
Look what it
You
turned
build
out to
up
be.
a whole class of persons. Listen, we're solving the problems of the nation. We're putting it forward. We're not presumptuous. We're not prideful. We're just trying. And we're joining our friends at Ira Jam. Erwin Clare, greetings.
Greetings, gentlemen. First, let me just say that, it's, I hear you guys talking about the products and all that. Please get it going. Please get it going. Because there is a market waiting for these products.
Yes.
So let's get it going, because we have
Hold on.
heard
Don't
these
say it, don't.
lamentations before.
All right. You are telling us, another voice in the choir, that there is market for Jamaican food products in the United States?
Indeed. In fact, I'll give you a case in point. It's summer now. I think it was back in 2020. Somebody came up with the ingenious idea right after the whole situation with mangoes were allowed into the United States.
Right.
And instead of taking it to the persons down in the various food markets, where they would then add significant value to monies to it, they decided to do a farmer's market, or I should say a roadside market. Let me tell you, gentlemen, it caused roadblocks, because people are coming from all over to get their box of Julie and East Indian mangoes.
Wow.
I use that as an example.
That's an example.
And is we didn't catch a country market from,
Of course, because wherever we go, Mr. Charles, Jamaicans make it Jamaica.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying here is that it's now time that we cut through the rhetoric, respectfully speaking, and get on with it.
Well,
Get on with it.
I would like to be able to buy 100 East Indian mango seedlings.
Oh, hold on. Call me.
You have it?
I can help you, man.
Oh, lovely.
So
See
then
that now?
Yes, man.
glad.
That's
my
what we're
wife
talking
just bought
about.
500.
Seedlings?
Yes, man.
Excellent.
I can tell you right now, the lady listen to us out of Yalas.
Good.
And the ministry. I don't think my wife's son spoke about it yesterday. But the ministry must. Rennie, you are the one talking about these children who coming out of school doing anything.
Yeah.
Why can't the ministry have a project?
Yeah.
They said they want 3 million.
A nursery project.
Nursery project.
Yeah.
But let me ask you that question, Mr. Charles. Why can't the ministry do that? Why can't they do it?
Well, we got Ronnie has asked me to make an appointment with the new minister, and it's my wife's son, so
well,
I'm gonna try and get him
No,
here.
we have a link.
No, the point is we have big links, but the point is that there's a torpor, T-O-R-P-O-R. There's an entropy in the system where we say we know what is right, we know what is good, but we find every excuse for not combining or we have a problem for every solution. Now we just have to get over that. The coming together on the bridge. Yes, let's expand it. The coming together on the bridge. The idea of the bridge, which is to link Jamaica with our people abroad, people like you. Yes, the fact that Pearnel and I from different backgrounds come together are symbols and incidents of the way that we have to go, because clearly, I can do it alone, or me not change the way it do, or you don't know what you say. Who tell you? All of those attitudes and the consequential behaviors are not working, Erwin Clare.
And that is why the length and breadth of both of your experiences are important. But they are important as a basis for us to learn from and take it to the next level. Because the point here is that I heard what the minister said, and I approve. But this is nothing new. We keep hearing the same thing over and over again, and just in different methodologies of presentations.
Yes.
It comes back down to the point that we are not doing what we say we should be doing. Mr. Charles, I guess you can go back into the history of you being in Parliament and hear ministers speak on these very same things,
man,
and we're still there.
You want action louder than voice.
Exactly. So I'm just saying right now, I don't necessarily want to hear from the ministers right now. I just want to see the results. To be honest with you, because at this point here, it infuriates some people, because some people are saying, but aren't we hearing this again? So I'm just saying, sir, that yes, we have young people out there, and I'm glad to hear that women are stepping up. Empower them. Make it happen. Give them an opportunity. I see where Jamaica National, for example, is indicating that they have loans to small farmers. Okay, get off the platform now and get the activities where people can come in and fill out the paperwork and not be burdensome with these bureaucracies, and get it going, because food security has to be the number one priority for us as a people right now.
So Claire, I heard young Charles made a point. He said, let us turn the storehouses that we are using to pack imported food into storehouses of food produced here.
Indeed.
Now, wouldn't that, and Ronnie, you have been strong, and what do we do with these children? These children can be excited to get action, man.
But of course.
They can be excited to get action.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Rather, we know they have a whole, but what are they doing? We want to see them, want to get them going. A man coming to my district and say, Mr. Charles, next week you go and plant. Mr. Brown, next week the tractor is going to plow for 10 people. Right? It just needs management and somebody to get up and do it.
Indeed.
So I heard the guys from overseas saying, stop chat and show me some action. That's right, Mr. Clear. Action stronger than voice.
Indeed. And the other thing too is that we must also realize too that it starts at the schools. Because I give you a case in point. I went to Yorkcastle High School in the greatest parish in Jamaica, St. Anne. They sit on a whole lot of lands down there. All right, fit for agriculture. And I'm quite certain that there are several other schools with similar situations. It must become part of the integral existence of the school life. If we're serious about this, because we can't wait for them to leave high school, then we start chase them down to become farmers. It must be ingrained in them that this is part of their existence. Because again, I go back to food security.
Mr. Clare, before we take the break and bring in your guests, I don't send my child to get their fingers dirty,
Well,
I want my child to be a forensic scientist or a pediatrician.
A pediatrician, we remain hungry and food on the table.
And I can't. I don't want you to have them think that this is part of their thing. Well. I send the garden boy out when I want to go.
Yeah. They'll be hungry.
Mr. Clare,
yes.
where are you now?
New York.
I'm in Jamaica.
Okay.
Jamaica, New York.
Because we make it Jamaica. Let me ask, so what you coming to talk about Brownstone? You're coming to talk about Yorkcastle. Like you come from Brownstone.
I come from Bamboo. You understand? And I know where Lime Tree Garden is though.
And you know where money is.
No, listen. This will take us a level. Let us welcome our guests. Buffalo is a city in distress. There are Jamaicans there. We're happy to engage them in solidarity. Executive Committee member of the Jamaican American Association of Buffalo, Mrs. Beverly Joy Morrison. Hello, ma'am. Welcome.
Hello, and thanks for having me.
And Joy, you need to speak up a little more, though. Joy, come close to the phone.
We heard her.
Oh, and I said hello, and thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Welcome home, Chairman of the.
I'm always home where Jamaica is concerned.
Isn't that lovely to hear? Chairman of the Jamaican American Association of Buffalo, Mr. Garth Gibson. Morning to you, sir. Welcome.
Yes, good afternoon.
Afternoon it is.
Thank you very much.
Good. The Honorable Pearnel Child Sr. is the co-host of this program, and he greets you also. We're concerned to hear from you folk in Buffalo what your reaction is to the tragedy that took place there recently. How do Jamaicans, people of Jamaican origin, identify with the victims? Tell us from your heart. Joy, begin now.
Well, I know a couple of the people that that lost their lives.
Oh no.
I don't know of any Jamaicans
Yes.
that this affected directly.
Yeah.
But of course, we're all affected. Whenever we lose one member of our community, we're all connected. As a Buffalo is a very small and close-knit community.
Yes.
And so we're all a little bit more sorrowful this week than we've been in a long time.
Yes.
And I would just like to add that the Jamaican and American Association of Buffalo, it has that name and American Association for a reason, because we relied on the collaborations and the support of the African American community here in Buffalo to support the programs that were of interest to us.
Yes.
So we are a part of the community and they are a part of us.
Yes. Well, and my recollection is it's a long time ago, but when I used to travel to Buffalo from nearby university, the Jamaicans were well respected within the black community.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and continues to be so.
Yes.
Because Buffalo is a community of immigrants, large immigrant populations, and you will find, for example, that many of us are here it's also a college town, right?
Indeed.
There are quite a few colleges and universities here. Mm-hmm. So we leave New York City, we come to the area to go to college, and then we end up staying because the job opportunity and the cost of living and everything else is good. Mm-hmm. But what we also have in the community are also a lot of farm workers that come directly from Jamaica and are working in the farm communities here.
Yes.
And some of them have established roots in these communities. In fact, in a town called Lockport, which is about 20 miles north of Buffalo, which is on the Lake Ontario. Mm-hmm. There are quite a few Jamaicans living up there. They have cricket teams, they have cricket tournaments. Teams come down from Toronto, Rochester to come and play in tournaments. They play against the Indian community that are here in Buffalo.
Sure.
They organize their cricket teams and they play. Yes. So, like I said, and I heard someone say it earlier, as Jamaicans, we spread out all over, but wherever we go, we seem to make our presence felt.
Well, that's good.
Indeed.
And it's very true here in Buffalo. In fact, the mayor from Buffalo, his father is a Jamaican.
Well, no, I gather that. That's interesting, eh? But there's a broad question I want to put to all of you. I had hoped that after the struggles of the 1960s, that the virulent racism in parts of America would have receded. I was bolstered in that hope, Irwin Clare, by the tenure of Barack Obama as president. However, it appears that there's a regression taking place. Am I right? Is this a temporary phenomenon that we have to just live through, or is there a deep cancer in the American polity?
There's a deep cancer, and I don't think it's a temporary situation. And the Barack Obama administration, or during his time in office, sought to embolden or to give new strength to it. And then here came the 45th president that gave a license for them, in other words, emboldened the whole process.
That is
and
Mr.
so
Trump.
And so now we're going through the manifestations of all that situation. So, have all these conspiracy theories that have been, one would say now, given birth and given life on mainstream media. We have the right to speak and say just about anything, and that's taking place right now and resulting in some of what is seen taking place. And so the need for pushback, the need for education is so critical. But then we live in a polarized society, and that is part of what is driving many of these situations right now. And so we have to remain resilient. It comes back down to many times people say that, that we our investments is what we're resulting right now, because we did invest in opportunities like these in the past, and we have never reconciled.
Beverly Joy Morrison and Garth Gibson, what do you, as Jamaicans, Afro-Caribbean persons in Buffalo. What do you make of this replacement theory that is being promoted now? Do you feel threatened by it? Do you scorn it? I'm anxious to know how you, with your Jamaican background, fit into this swirl of different views and attitudes in America.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, when I walk down the street, no one knows that I'm of Jamaican descent versus whether or not I'm from the South or I'm from Africa, directly from Africa or whatever. No one knows. So yes, I have to feel threatened by that because I will get stopped by the police. I will get asked the same questions, and it doesn't matter. And you know what's also interesting? I find that there are quite a few people who will say to me, "Oh, but you're not black." Okay, and there are all those things going on. But I think to tap into also what Mr. Clear was saying is that America has not come to terms with post-slavery, post-slavery, and everything else that has gone on. With regards to the terror, how African Americans and people of color in the United States have been terrorized over centuries. They have not come to terms with it, and many do not want to come to terms with it. So until that happens, we're going to have these things happen, and I'm not surprised that these things happen.
Well, let me.
Well, the way I approach this is that I'm in a world where I'm in contact with a lot of my fellow white citizens who want to engage with me on this topic. And I usually tell them that you're probably talking to the wrong person. You should really be talking to your friends and family about this, because I do understand what's going on as a person, as a Black person. I understand it very well. I've lived in this country since I was a little girl, over 50-something years. I'm 66 years old, and I've been here before I was a teenager, let's put it that way.
Goodness.
So I've lived here a very long time. Most of my education has been in this country. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, this has always been there. The undercurrent, when I went to Boston College in the 70s, I was promptly called a pejorative word. And but now more people are emboldened to say and do the things that they're doing. But I think how we react to it as a community of color is really important. It's not to engage in conversations with people who just want to make themselves feel better by talking to you about it. I usually refer them to their friends and family because that's where we need to solve this problem.
You see, Ronnie?
I got you clearly.
You see, Ronnie, one of the situations here is that these fringe replacement theories and stuff of this sort, fringe conversations, gets life from what transacted last Saturday. Because I can guarantee you that many people are now being aware of this replacement theory. Yes. What is that? Yeah. And so you find that these conversations that are taking place in the dark of the virtual space are now being given prominence. So they are actually succeeding in exactly what is it they want to do.
Of course.
Because, you see, these things exist in the dark. Yes, we know that, as I said, we have not reconciled with our past. How can we really go forward? The point here is that we have to remain resilient. We have to understand, make sure we educate our children. We see what's taking place in Florida, the state of Florida, next door to Jamaica. We have a governor down there that seeks to wakes up every morning and decides what is in his best interest, not the communities, not the nations. And so you find that a lot of those situations now will become even more relevant and obvious to us as we morph into an election season. Because, guys, it's about the elections. Let's not lose sight of that. It's about the power of this nation.
Boy, but you know, to keep a cool head, to maintain relations, not to revert defensively into hatred, into reverse feelings, recrimination after last week in Buffalo. Beverly Joy Morrison and Garth Gibson, Pearnel, Charles, Irwin, Clare is a very, very high spiritual calling. Let's take the break on the bridge and Ira Jam. We'll be back to this discussion in just a moment. The bridge uniting Jamaicans everywhere. I love the theme of the public eye on the bridge, Pearnel, Charles and myself, rapping with Irwin Clare at Ira Jam in New York City, talking with Beverly Joy Morrison and Garth Gibson in Buffalo. You know, Pearnel, Charles, you listen to those two people speak about how they navigate and maneuver their situation. What do you feel?
I am worried.
Yeah.
And I tell you why I'm worried, and I want them to listen. I was in the United States. I was in the revolution when things were speeding up for the change.
Change towards racial equality.
Right.
Early 60s.
And Ronnie, 3 white boys who think like us, I was thinking like us, decided to join the march. The 3 of them were killed. 3 white, I don't know if any of you guys on the phone know about it. 3 white guys. I think we're going to Montgomery or something.
Yes, we know about it.
Yep,
Right?
yep,
We're,
yep.
we're
And
aware.
Ronnie, I cried.
Yeah.
I said, these guys are at their home and they want to make a change. And they come. You know who killed them? White people kill them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So what the hell are you doing with these niggas?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
kill the 3 of them.
Yeah.
No, so I come back to what the lady has just said. There are good people, but there are even some in our own who say, boy, we're dying to catch them. So this thing bothers people who really want to come and say, boy, we treat them bad, and they're waiting to treat us bad. So this is where you come in, Randy, with your collar, you know.
But you know,
God has to come into this. This is not just a man thing.
Joy Morrison.
divine intervention.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
You have to say to a man, say, listen, you have to forgive.
So you're talking about genuine fears.
Yes,
okay.
there's genuine fears running. When you tell a white man, say, listen, the way you want to treat we, 5 years, 10 years from now, we in charge. You think we're going next to no?
But isn't that essentially part of the reparations argument that although I didn't do anything to you.
Yeah.
If my ancestors did, then I'm responsible too. No.
Well,
Well,
one could look at it that way, but I give you something more obvious today. We speak about the whole situation about the infighting in the policies and politics of this country. We look at Mr. Trump's factor on the Republican Party. That's taking place right now. You have the Trump factor that is running candidates separate and apart from the mainstream Republican Party.
Yeah.
That is taking place right there in the eyesight to all. So you find that kind of vitriol, it's existing even so across racial lines and into the political sphere where it involves power. And that is the part, Ronnie, that I think is cause for lots of concern, because then there are those who will now argue and say that the possibility, although we probably could say it's happening right now, we're running up the program to a situation where we'll definitely have truly minority leadership and power base in this country at the political level.
So Joy, Garth, what's the answer? What's the antidote? Where's the balm in Gilead? I hear silence.
Well, I always try to look at the positive in every situation.
Good.
And how we can take, even if it's 1% positive out of 100% negative, we can say, how can we move forward? We don't want to become bitter. And I know, as somebody who I am infinitely proud of my Jamaican, not Caribbean, but my Jamaican specifically, heritage and birth, as I tell everybody my navel string is buried up in Alston, Moravia, and Clarendon.
Wow.
So I am, my dad is
Lord.
here in the United States. He's from there. He's 94 years old.
Wonderful.
I am infinitely proud. And I just want to tell you, I'm proud of the Jamaicans that are in this community, that we're not letting negative things affect us.
Good.
We know that it's there. We understand the genesis of these problems, those of us who've lived here long enough. And we have some Jamaicans that are doing great work in Buffalo. So I focus on that.
Yes.
I'm focused on the work that my colleague, my chairman of the board of our organization, Garth, is doing, that I'm doing. We have Jamaicans that are sitting on the bench in Buffalo, or deputy clerks in the surrogate courts. There are many things that we just keep moving, and Garth can name some of those people who are really making a difference. So while people are fighting over who is this and who is that, we're quietly having a revolution of intellect in this community.
I love that. I love
There's
that.
an intellectual community in Buffalo of people of color. And we all know who we are, who each other. We all know each other, and we're not deterred by violence.
Well, that's
You
a
know
strong
something?
statement.
I can hear it in your voice, and I can see it in your home.
You see the piece of art
I
behind
look in behind you.
All the
I see planting.
chocho.
I see chocho. I see
That's
pan.
right.
I see aki. And I
You
see
see the yellow
bread.
yam?
And I see breadfruit. I see the whole yard.
And yellow yam, and I can show you my Jamaican flag.
Yeah, man, I see the piece of round
coat
leaf.
of arms. It's
I see
all there.
I see the piece of round leaf from Trelawney. Right?
That's
Listen,
right.
stop. Pause now. Garth Gibson, tell us some of the things that Jamaicans are doing. Tell us the activity of the Jamaican American community in Buffalo.
Oh, I mean, oh boy, where do I start? I can start with what we're currently doing. Through the Jamaican and American Association of Buffalo, we're able to form a relationship between UA Mona Campus and the State University of New York. So right now we're in the process of, again, we've brought Jamaica on through UA as part of the Global Virus Network.
Great.
We're in the process of, we have a PharmD program, PhD program at UA Mona Campus that is supported by the University of Buffalo. We're in the process of bringing the School of Dentistry from UB down to Jamaica to again start developing a dental school on the UA campus.
Well,
I mean, there's just so many things that we're looking at doing. We have Jamaicans who are deans of a Jamaican who is a dean of the medical school at the medical school here in Buffalo. We have professors. Again, there are just so many of us just scattered around in the community. And but the biggest thing we have going right now is a collaboration between SUNY, UB, University of Buffalo, and UA. And we're doing tremendous work there. And I hope as time goes on, we'll get to let the public be more aware of these accomplishments.
Well, we want to be the bridge that allows you to do just that. So whenever you need, or when you're the agent, make sure that we know this, because I didn't have any idea about that, and we have a special gift to give, because many of these prejudices, many of these neuroses that are afflicting the great American polity, we gone higher than that. We gone different to that in our land,
Indeed, and we must also look back, and that's where we have to pay homage to the Jamaicans back in the day that paved the way to where we are today.
Yes.
And one such gentleman that stands out right now, very active in Najaso, which was the first real umbrella organization here in the United States, Dr. Anderson.
Yes.
Dr. Anderson is a name that's revered in Buffalo, and he has done some significant work in the city of Buffalo to project where we are today. But you see, the important thing here, though, is that These are, when we speak about built out of relationship with the diaspora, these are the things that are happening without intervention of other situations. It happens because Jamaicans are committed in where they are, what they do, and how they can help their nation. These are the potential opportunities that still exist that needs to be engaged. And we're just proud of ourselves, but we also recognize we have a lot of work to do, because it is not just rosy red pictures that we're speaking of. There are some challenges in our community that we also have to deal with as well.
Of course.
I'm going to ask the lady one, because I suffered from it.
What?
Is there any feeling, and I'm going to put Black Americans, Black Jamaicans, white Americans, is this tri-party acceptance where the white man will say, you're not really black, you're Indian from the West, or in other words, is the Black American and the Black Jamaican, or the Jamaican and the Black American one, as looking from the white American who is looking today as a threat?
Joy, how does that work?
Because I grew up in the United States most of my life,
Yes.
I have never distinguished myself in that manner, because I went to school in the Bronx, New York, and then I went away in 1974 to Boston. And I've always said that as Black folks, whether you're born in the United States of America or you're born in Jamaica or whatever Caribbean island, it's just a matter of where we were dropped off. And so from slave days. So I don't allow people to separate me from an African American. I won't allow that to happen. And I think it's my duty as a Black person to make sure that I'm not talked to like, well, you're not like the others. I am just like the others. And there's no difference in the way I perceive myself than from other people.
Yes, but we also at the same time have to acknowledge that the mere fact that we are Jamaicans and a certain level of respect just comes from the fact that you say, I'm a Jamaican. It enables certain privilege that is not given to African Americans who are born here.
And that's a blessing and a curse. Yes.
And that's a blessing and a curse.
Yes. And that's a blessing and a curse. Because when you look at the whole geopolitical situation, that's where the division comes in. Because you look at certain policies that impact immigrants in this country, the line is drawn. And it is not necessarily drawn from African American community, but it's instigated externally and fed into that. Because the argument has always been and continues to be that the quote unquote immigrants are here to remove jobs, and who do they remove it from? Usually African American community, and therein lies a part of the challenge we have. But within that challenge, there are opportunities, because we have seen how we have engaged. Because when you look at the census is saying what? That Jamaicans is the largest contributor to the African American community, which bodes well for them and bodes well for us, because by us being a part of that whole dilemma, it improves the numbers, because it's numbers that counts in this country when it comes down to the whole political process.
Garth Gibson?
But what we have to be careful about is that we as Jamaicans don't also, and I've seen it and I've heard it from other Jamaicans who have bought into this idea that we are better than them.
Exactly.
That they're buying into the same racist stereotypes that have been imposed upon African Americans, and we have to be careful that we don't follow suit.
Yes.
And recognize it for what it is.
Listen to me.
That's exactly what I was talking about, Garth. That's exactly the point that I was trying to make, is that to me, there is no distinction. I've lived here a lot longer than I've lived in Jamaica. In 66 years, I've lived here 50-something years. So I am entrenched in America, even though my one foot is always in Jamaica. And I'm one of those people that before COVID, I was in Jamaica at least 5 times a year.
Wow.
And there's not a parish I haven't been to in Jamaica. And I still feel strongly about how I allow other people to perceive me,
Yes.
no matter how successful I am.
Let me hear.
They are not allowed to set how I define myself. I define who I am.
Let me quickly
last
say,
word from you,
I'm
Mr.
not
Charles.
blaming you,
Yes.
but I am a realist.
Yes.
I lived in New York.
Yes.
I went to one of the City University,
University,
and I
yeah.
know that
Radical.
the time when they tried to make West Indians different
A
from
scapegoat,
Americans.
scapegoat, yes.
Right?
Yes.
And we had to fight against that by
Exactly.
getting the Americans to join in with us. And many of the white Americans were stronger in support of
Than
us
African
than some of the black ones.
Well, listen,
Exactly. That's a fact.
We know.
Well, I agree with you because I went to school in New York City from elementary school through high school. So I understand. I understand the dynamics. I'm a product of PS 82 and a product of Walton High School.
Very good,
So
very good.
But that is changing, though. The
Yeah.
whole dynamics is changing. The younger people of today are thinking different
Bridging the
and
gap.
behaving
Bridging the gap.
differently
Yeah.
when it comes to that.
Listen,
Yeah,
up,
yeah,
like,
indeed.
what we want to tell you folk in Buffalo that just stand firm, you see, and in the midst of all of the ferment and the distress, we own you, we cherish the work and the lives that you are living, and the fact that embedded in that society, you nonetheless know where your navel string is buried in Jamaica.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know exactly
All right.
where it's buried. Yes.
All right.
And keep your food behind your head going.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for-
I've never forgotten the fact that I was born in a 2-room house up in Top Alston in
I tell you,
Moravia.
lovely.
All right.
And every time I go to Jamaica, I go up
You
there
go up
because
there.
my family still
Still
has
there.
the property.
Look at that. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, both of you, for joining us. Please,
Thank
please
you.
And
meet,
thank you for having
Thank you for
us.
having us.
meet us on the bridge anytime. Ira Jam is our link. We're happy to know you and to have you. Garth Gibson and Beverly Joy Morrison.
Thank you so much.
A pleasure.
Okay. Okay, Beverly.
Erwin Clare, thanks
Yes.
thanks for being the link there.
Yeah, man. I just before you go,
Clear, you come from Brownstone?
you know,
Come from
let,
Bamboo
us
in
let's get
Pearnel.
it let's get it straight, Mr. Charles. I said bamboo. All right.
Hold
I went
on.
to school in Brownstone.
So you know,
Shelley Road, Bamboo.
Yeah, so you know,
And
you know my mother was from Manique.
Yeah, man, and you know my family too. But anyway, that's a subject for another day.
Oh,
but listen,
all right, okay.
listen up now. I want to share the.
Just
I wanna
remain as you are, strong.
Yes,
Very
sir.
good.
Thank you much. I want to share this with you gentlemen and Jamaica. As you know, the summer is a period where we look forward to many activities. And one of the major activities we're looking forward to in the summer here in New York would have been a concert by the name of Groovin' in the Park, which would have seen its ninth year rather. And it's cancelled. And I have to say kudos to the management over there because they were taking into consideration that the uptick in numbers in COVID is a factor. It is still here with us. Mm-hmm. It's a concert that normally drew over 30,000 persons. So, of course, it would have been a challenging situation there. Not certain if the parks would allow that many people. But at the same token, too, and also the impact of the what the war has done on cost of goods, etc., etc. And I just want to take this opportunity, Ronnie, and to say that we here in the United States that have vaccination rates up to 75%, that you have entrepreneurs from our community that can take decisions like that. Yeah. Entrepreneurs can take decisions like that. Yeah. Demonstrates integrity and confidence and respect they have for their community. And I say kudos to the management and staff.
It's good because if they could have decided otherwise. It's obviously a financial sacrifice that they're making, and that is the kind of spirit which distinguishes us. Eh?
Indeed. That's what we're all about. And again, like I say to you, gentlemen, wherever we are, we make it Jamaica, and we're very proud of that.
What we're hoping you will do, Erwin Clare, is that when we meet on the public eye on Wednesdays, find us stories like those from Buffalo. Jamaicans who are flying the flag and at the same time being totally immersed in what they're doing and doing it so well. Grateful to you, grateful to all the folks at Ira Jam, and welcoming the institution of the bridge. We're strengthening it week by week.
Indeed. And I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you, gentlemen, for allowing me into the space. And we look forward to the discourse going forward.
Man, all the while. Till next week.
This Irish I'm talking, you know?
It's Irish I'm talking, man.
No, it's Bridge Nation.
Harry, I don't understand, Harry. You're something, you're lively up this morning, man.
Lord, man.
You're lively up today. The other morning, you sound like you don't, but you're strong.
Hey, Bridge Nation does that to him.
You can't keep your down, you know.
What a bridge.
Yes, that's great. Take
Cross
care,
over
Erwin.
the bridge.
All the best.
Sure.
And I'd like to thank all our guests for today. Our host
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
our host at Irish Jam in New York, Erwin Clare, our certified management consultant and affiliation member of the Institute of Management Consultants, Robert Stevens, and those two gems from Buffalo, Jamaican American Garth Gibson and Beverly Joy Morrison. Thank you, Pearnel Charles. It warms our heart to be able to do this. Yes, it's time for us to wind up, they tell us. Yes, and it's important that we see that enduring connection that exists between Jamaica and the United States.
And Ronnie, it's going to get stronger because
Well,
with all the problem that we're having, we're going forward, and more people are joining.
Well, I hope so. I'm worried that the younger generation, Joy Morrison's, Garth Gibson's children, Erwin Clare's, may not have the same link over time as they themselves do. But it appears from our interaction on the bridge, both with the folk in the United Kingdom and in the United States and Canada, that somehow the spirit
They're carrying on the spirit.
Well, isn't that great?
And there are two major things in that. The food and the transport. Come home.
Yes.
Come home, come look where we come from.
Sure. And the music too?
Don't make anybody fool you.
Yeah.
The language.
The
language, the little Jamaican.
Sure.
And
the identity.
The little...
Yes. Well, can you imagine? Joy Morrison has lived in the United States for 50-odd years.
Yes.
And when you look at the art behind her, it's pure Jamaica, you know.
Pure Jamaica, breadfruit, yam,
ackee. So her identity is quite fixed.
And our friend from Bamboo not hiding it. Let him know my mother don't have money.
Come from that. Thanks so much to LaFane, to Richie, and all those who make the public eye possible on the bridge. We give way to Nikki Z and her particular music. This is a funny program, you know. It's really special. Tony Rebel before and Nikki Z afterwards. What a sandwich that Pearnel and myself are. And it's our great pleasure and our privilege to be able to talk to Jamaicans all over the world. Take care of yourself. Until next time, blessings.